I wonder if you would say a little bit, just autobiographically, about how education changed your life. I mean, you growing up in Texas, and now I guess living there again. But your journey through and with education has been really extraordinary. I wonder if you would say a few words about the transformative impact on you.
Well, that's a very long story, but given my age, I mean, it's very long. But, you know, one of the problems that I have in our country today is how we live such separate lives. Mm-hmm. Middle-class people who have no concept of what it's like, really, to be desperately poor.
Yeah.
Wealthy people who only associate with other wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when I was growing up in Fifth Ward in Houston, that was the only world that I knew. What did I know? I knew that I could never aspire to any kind of profession. Mm-hmm. I knew that I couldn't go downtown and sit in a restaurant. I knew that I couldn't speak in any uppity way to a white person. I knew that people thought I was ugly and unworthy. That's the life that I lived. But there was a bright spot, and that is in my neighborhood. There was a community center, and the community center had books, and we could go and take books out and read them. And my goodness, I started to read and I started to understand that the little world I lived in wasn't really the world. It was just a tiny cell in which I lived. So learning that was the single most important thing in my life.
Yes.
That my life was not circumscribed by my economic conditions and by the fact that my parents had 8th grade education, nor by the fact that a lot of people hated me for no reason that I could really understand as a tiny kid. So the simple answer is that education taught me to be more open-minded, to actually wait to learn about people and not to presume that the people who hated me were evil just because they hated me or just because they didn't know me. It taught me to care about the fact that the world was a complex place, that I was, just as I was hearing, I'd walk down the street and people would pass by and yell nigger when I was walking to school, but in my own neighborhood, I knew there was just as much hatred as what I was experiencing from whites. Education taught me to really think differently about the world, and to look, to try to understand different cultures and different peoples around the world. I thought I could learn from that, and that was the single biggest thing in my life. To learn that simple message was fantastic. And of course, that kept me in school for a long time, all the way through the PhD, and just the fact that there was so much there to learn, and things that I could in fact do. But I have to say, it took me an enormous amount of time to overcome the idea that I could actually do something. Because that was so deeply embedded in me that I thought, well, maybe I could be a secretary, which would be a wonderful, in my family, that would have been a fantastic thing. And then I'd go a little farther and I would say, well, maybe I could be a teacher. And then next, well, maybe I could do this, or maybe, but I couldn't embrace the entire idea at a time because it was too big an idea in a way. But eventually I just kept going and kept learning.